Are you sliding too much in the downswing or from the top where the knees are staying buckled and your body tends to get too far outside your front foot as the club approaches the ball? If you're getting frustrated with this detrimental move in the downswing, well, stay tuned. This video is really going to help. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Kerrod here on the range today here at Joondalup Resort, and in this lesson we're going to be talking all about eliminating that slide, that excessive movement of the lower body as it approaches the golf ball. And into impact, we would generally see that players would keep these knees buckled for way too long, and it really affects your ability to strike that golf ball in a consistent fashion. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, please go down below, click subscribe, click that little bell. It's free and you're going to get access to all these videos coming out your way. Also, on top of that, if you're looking for something a little bit more personalized, I am available for online coaching at www.kggolf.com. So if you're interested in that, please head over and I can certainly help you out with your frustrations. But on to today's session, as we were just discussing, we're talking about removing that slide of that lower body, generally as a reference point when the lower body moves too far ahead of what we would see with the professional golfer. And then by the time that we've made impact and going through, they get this very buckled look of the lower body. Now, why does this happen? Why do we see that players get to such a position that they're sliding those legs in? As we see with the professional, it's very different. They'll get this beautiful movement and extension. Their whole body would be tall as they strike the golf ball and into that finish position. So why would some players stay buckled down for too long? Now, a lot of this happens far earlier on in the golf swing. And believe it or not, from the top of the swing, usually a result of staying buckled through the ball is because at the beginning of the downswing, players actually aren't getting forward enough. So from this angle here, as we get to the top and we start down, what we would see with the professional would be a recentering move in transition where their upper and lower body mass would move onto the lead foot. And then from there, they would begin to rotate. Everything would begin to extend like a big uppercut punch feeling into this convex finish position that you would see with your favorite golfer. The recreational golfer a lot of the time will get to the top of their swing and in one way or another, they'll do this move here. Their upper body will stay too far back and they'll either bump their lower body too aggressively towards the target, which will start rotating their hips, but because their upper body's so far behind, they then have to stall out and buckle their knees to get to the ball. Or they'll actually just in this position here, they might shift down into the ground correctly, but they're staying back for way too long. And then as a result, they can't get the bottom of the swing forward. So they start to drift forward and drag the handle. Once again, still the same effect. So at the end of the day, the difference between what we see with that amateur golfer and the professional is really about how they're moving from this position in transition and then following up. So an excellent drill to be able to rectify this is to grab an alignment stick such as this. And what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to place this about a fist length outside of your front hip. So I'm going to set up here. Now I'd advise teeing this up so you can make sure you're in the right position. Just grab that front fist, place it outside of your hip. So for me being a right-hander, outside the front of my left hip here. And that there would give us a reference of where we would want to ensure that in the transition, we are bumping that before extending. Now what we would see with the amateur golfer, once again, is from this position here, they would either rotate too much in this direction or their upper body would stay back. The hips would go forward. As you can see, I'm still not getting to that position there. And then as a result, they would stay buckled through the ball. Both of these is going to result in that low point being too far back behind the golf ball. So what I would suggest you doing, just starting off, just doing some practice swings, is get a feeling of swinging to the top, moving your lower and your upper body so you slightly bump that stick, and then from there, swing through and finish tall and extended. We want to almost get our belt buckle finishing on that line in this position here. Let's do that again. So we're going to swing to the top, lower and upper body, shifting to the left side, extending up in the follow through. Now, as you do so, try and get that focus to strike the ground, finishing tall and extended. Now, you're really going to have to be aware of your body movements as you do this. If you've never done this before, it's going to feel very odd to be standing up that much so early in the golf swing. A lot of players have this concept that they need to keep looking at the ball for as long as possible. However, when you think about most athletic sports, you're not really that focused on the golf ball. Sure, you've got an awareness, it's in your peripheral vision as such, but you're really focusing more so in completing this athletic motion towards your intended target. We're not so fixated on just striking the ball. The more that we keep our head down and our body down, the more likely we're going to stay down. And as you can see, our legs stay bent for far too long, and that just causes, once again, the same image through the impact that we're trying to eradicate. To get rid of this slide, we need an early recentering, which is what we see with the professional. So they would swing back, they would recenter back towards the target, and then they would extend from that position. That recentering move places a lot of pressure down on the front foot and allows us to then explode up into our finish position. Rather than hanging back for too long, either bumping the hips and spinning, or just simply spinning both pieces too early and then having to recover really late through the golf ball. It just simply doesn't work as well for the recreational golfer as the one before. So when we move into actually practicing this, just starting off with small swings, tee this up the first couple of times that you do it, and all we're going to do is we're going to swing to the top. We're going to fall onto that left side by shifting our lower and our upper. And then from here, when about this lead arm is parallel in this position, what we want to do is we want to finish tall and up through the ball. So let's put this into effect here. Turn, bump, extend. Now you can see that ball shot off dead straight with a baby little draw. Now, my body finished up against this stick here, and that was simply a result of a centered pivot, a shift of the lower and upper centers, meaning the center of my sternum and the center of my pelvis, over to the point in which my hip was on my front foot, and then I was extending up into it. So you want to finish up against a wall. Imagine this thing right here extends all the way up, with your belt buckle being the apex of that body there, getting into that nice convex position that you would see your favorite golfer in. So once you've done that a couple of times, you're going to have to do it really slow, as with doing any of these exercises. Then it's all about trying to get comfortable in your rehearsal swing, doing it, creating some speed, and then translating that into a full shot. You'll start to know that you get it right when your body finishes tall and extended. You'll start to get that powerful ball first ground contact that you might be missing. And when you film yourself, you'll see that your body is extended up through the moment of impact. So I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. If you got any questions at all, please let me know. But until next time, I'm Kerrod. Thanks for watching.